Well, we are getting a rare glimpse at what the Obama administration really thinks about Obamacare. In HHS documents, the administration says the problems with healthcare.gov put the entire health insurance industry at risk, potentially leading to their default. Profoundly serious. Yet listen to what White House Press Secretary Jay Carney told our Fox Ed Henry.
Last thing on healthcare. The Hill newspaper reported a couple of days ago that a procurement document from late December says that federal officials decided to bring on Accenture for the healthcare.gov contract. And they did it quickly. They did it without open bid because they justified it, administration officials, by saying they had to move quickly because they said the health insurance industry was at risk if the site was not fixed. They also went on to say, quote, the entire healthcare reform program is jeopardized if these fixes are not made by mid-March.
Who said that?
Federal officials who were quoted in this procurement from CMS, I would expect, not from the White House.
I didn't see the article. I'm not aware of those statements.
Not aware of those statements, didn't see the article. We're back with our political panel, the Weekly Standard, Steve Hayes, Cook Political Reports, Amy Walter in the Hills, A.B. Stoddard. Well, Stevie's not aware of this.
He ought to be aware of those statements. They're pretty striking. I mean, you've got the administration, in effect, confirming what critics have been saying since the launch of Obamacare on October 1st, in effect saying that the website problems are so significant, particularly on the back end, that it could lead to the collapse of Obamacare. We've heard Jay Carney and others in the administration say for several months now that those fears are overblown, that that's not really possible, that this is exaggeration from the critics. And it turns out now that in these documents that the administration filed, that HHS filed in order to justify its no-bid contract, no-bid awarding of a contract to Accenture after they jettisoned CGI, which had the contract before, they're the ones who said this. In effect, they've adopted the language of their critics in order to make the case for urgency.
That's the question, which is, were they doing this as a way to get around the procurement rules, right? To make it look so dire so as to be able to do that, right? But then you of course have to say, well, we just said it because we wanted to make we wanted to get the right. Okay, so we did that because we want to get rid of CGI and have this new no bid contract. And they're going to help us, but it's really not that bad. The question really becomes, when are we going to start to see if there are back-end problems, you know that, but when are we going to start to see it really hit consumers?
I mean, when does the bomb hit, I guess? When does the bomb drop?
Is that going to happen? And right now, folks that I talk to who are in the industry say, it's not bad right now. There are workarounds. It's doing okay. The question is, what is it going to look like in March? And will Accenture be able to hit that goal?
Right, and March 31, that deadline is coming very soon. How, without a back end that actually pays for policies that people who've enrolled think that they have, how in this short time left does a new company come in after CGI and right all of the wrongs in order to make it demographically and mathematically and financially work out before the insurance company is making decisions about premium prices for 2015, before employers decide whether or not to push people onto the exchanges and out of the plans that they're on right now, before we really look at that formula of 3 to 2 that's going to sustain the program of 3 risky, elderly, sick people to every 2 young, less risky. I don't know how that works out in 8 weeks.
All right, well, let me ask you another question, panel. President Obama was doing it again, threatening Congress tonight, saying he's going to skip them. Here's what he said moments ago to a group of mayors at the White House.
The one thing I'm emphasizing to all my cabinet members is we're not going to wait. Where Congress is debating things and hasn't been able to pull the trigger on stuff, my administration is going to move forward, and we're going to do it in partnership with all of you. I've got a pen and I've got a phone, and that's all I need. Because
your thoughts, Amy? I mean, he's also got a Congress that's supposed to legislate. I mean,
well, there is that whole 3 branches thing I learned about in government, but the reality is this is nothing new. I mean, the administration has been saying it. They've been saying it for a while now. I have executive power. I have executive privilege.
Why is he saying that?
President of the United States. Unclear, but I think it's, actually why I think he's saying it is also to buck up Democrats. Yes. If you're going into a midterm election with the president whose approval rating right now is at 41%, you've got to buck them up.
I pulled out a speech that I went to July 2010 in immigration at American University, where he says he's going to do all this stuff with immigration. At the time, he had a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate, and he didn't even need his pen, and he didn't do anything. So, I mean, it's like this chatter. At some point, the Democrats are going to say, how about producing?
Right, and that is why you're hearing so much about economic inequality, minimum wage. That's another way to talk to the base that feels like they're not getting talked to.
Why do you think AB is saying that?
Well, the mayors liked it, and they all clapped because they're desperate for some sort of action out of Washington. So when he says things like that, they hope that he really can do something. There's not a lot he really can do. Amy's right. It makes Democrats feel better. It changes the subject, especially to talk about income inequality from the failures of the Affordable Care Act. But really, on balance, there's not a lot he can do without the Congress, or he would have done it. And it's really a sign that your power is fading. It's in the second year, when the first year was wasted of your second term, when you're pretty much already a lame duck, to say, I've got a pen and I've got a phone. I'm just waiting to see what he's going to do. I doubt it's much.
I'm going to take the last word, but I keep thinking to myself, don't say that one again, because it's really getting bad, because, you do have to consider the Congress, at some point. And pretty soon everyone's going to wise up and say, quit saying that. But anyway, panel, thank you.
Thank you.